Hey guys, thanks for watching this video, and as usual, like and subscribe. It always helps the channel, helps the algorithms, and let's get into this. So here we are again in yet another. And I don't care. This is not. They're using this to say, well, we're doing this because this is how Anakin built 3PO. Well, Anakin built 3PO 20 years ago. And there was never any need for any specific explanation. You just assumed, well, this is, not only the chosen one, but he's just a smart kid, and he has this ability, and he's really smart with mechanics. And I've debated with people. I had a guy debating me on Twitter trying to tell me that Anakin used the Force in the pod race when he didn't. Like he just fumbled and figured out, how to work the buttons and stuff like that. I don't know why people say that, because that didn't happen. Anyway, and then he was just really a smart kid, and there was nothing wrong with that. We didn't need an explanation. But then they made Rey. And Rey wasn't the chosen one in terms of, the lore, and she kind of comes out of nowhere. So once again, we're doing this every single time. It's an explanation for these stupid ideas in the sequels. There's nothing wrong with Rey even being tech savvy, but the problem was her ability to fly the Falcon. That made absolutely no sense. And fix it and know more about it than Han. That was the problem. It wasn't that she was tech savvy. Nobody cared. So again, here we go. So Star Wars introduced new force power that appears to show how Anakin built C-3PO. Thank the maker, 3PO declared, blah, blah, blah. Slave boy on Tatooine, we all know that. Anakin dreamed that he and his mother could one day see the stars, da-da-da-da. He was conceived by the will of the Force. Okay, and again, that's very different than Rey. Rey's a Palpatine, right? Rey's a Palpatine, so it's very different. Not to say that, he has to be conceived by the Force to be really good at building stuff and building 3PO and his pod and all that stuff. But, that sort of helps a bit too, but, she's a Palpatine. Okay, and that is why he's the only human pod racer to win the races at Tatooine, because he could sense threats and obstacles just before they became a reality. And see, I don't see that in the scene. I just see a kid who's extremely smart and able. But Anakin's ability with machines at such an early age was also decidedly odd. Was it though? Anakin's ability with machines is perfectly explained. See, I always thought that was what his job was as a slave kid. He just happened to have talents and abilities with machines, and so I never read into it any further. It wasn't like I needed some huge explanation. So again, they're trying to say that this is about Anakin. It's not. It's about Rey. He lived in the High Republic. Okay, so Anakin's ability to perfectly explain in the novel Race to Crash Point Tower, which introduces a Jedi Padawan named Ram Jalmaran. He lived in a High Republic era, some 200 years before Phantom Menace, and his relationship with the Force was different than any other Jedi. Where most Jedi possessed abilities related to living creatures, he found himself instinctively able to understand technology. That's not a Force power. When Ram took apart a damaged speeder, he could focus and use the Force to identify any part that was not working, or when he looked at a sabotaged comm system, he could intuitively sense how to repair it. It seems to be a rare Force power, one of the few Jedi. Yeah, you know why? Because that wasn't in Star Wars. In the original trilogy, Yoda doesn't say the Force is in your ship. It's supposed to be with nature, with your surroundings. It's not supposed to be with man-made things, right? And I'm not saying you can't use the Force to lift something up or to lift up parts of a lightsaber to build it or things like that. That's different. The Force is not a machine thing. It's a nature thing. It's a spiritual thing. It's just whatever, man. I mean, if you like it, you like it. I just think it sucks. Presumably, Anakin also possessed this Force power when he was a child on Tatooine. Presumably. Oh, okay. Explaining his natural skill and technology. No, I just thought he was a really smart kid. Unfortunately, it is likely that this is not one talent he grew with age. The Jedi or High Republic had a different philosophy of Force, encouraging each Force sensitive to relate to the Force in their own unique way. But by the prequel trilogy, the views and understanding of Master Yoda had become dominant. Oh, so that's the problem, is Yoda ruined everything. And the Jedi were no longer encouraged to experiment. Oh, that Yoda guy. While Anakin would always be gifted with technology, he seems to have seen it as something separate from his Force powers, because it was, and he never tried anything like the creative tricks Ram Jomaran attempted. See, everything they're doing is pointing at the Jedi Order's bad, Yoda was bad. This is what this should have been doing. No, man, it's not about technology, guys. Like, it's just not. Like, that's such a stupid idea. Like, it's about nature and the force and the and feeling it flowing through everything from trees to the air to, like, it's got nothing to do with mechanical stuff. It's so stupid. The High Republic books and comics reveal at a time when the Jedi Order was flourishing before the Jedi became so afraid of the dark side. What? So the High Republic, they weren't worried about that? Okay, anyway. This is allowing writers to shine a new light on the nature of the Force and the powers it blesses Jedi with, revealing skills and abilities that have been alluded to before but never explicitly identified. Although Ram's power is unnamed, it is impressive nonetheless, and it finally resolves one of the oddest mysteries: why the Force prodigy was also mechanical and engineering genius. It didn't need explaining. It was 20 years ago. Why do we need an explanation now? Oh, I know why. Because Rey knew how to do everything. And there was no explanation for it. See, in Anakin's case, there's an explanation for it. Again, he lived on Tatooine. He was a slave to Watto. Now I remember his name. He was inclined with mechanics. That's what Watto had him do. And if he's doing that all day, every day as a slave, I don't know what the hours are for slaves. Probably 12-hour days, 16-hour days. You know, he probably got pretty good at it. That was all the explanation we needed. No, now it's a force power. Building things is a force power. Force power touch to take away the dark side from someone. Force power to touch to build a ship. Like, it's just, they just don't stop with this stupidity. And again, they're trying to say that this is about Anakin. It has nothing to do with him because nobody cared about that. The problem was Rey. And so now this is, see, Rey has this force power too. That's how she's able to fly the Falcon and do all that stuff. When we should have just made her Han's daughter, and then you could say it was hereditary, and that there was some cool, connection. No, she's Palpatine. Anyway, guys, I'm just every one of these ideas sucks. It takes away the mystique of it, the beauty of it. I don't like a force power having to do with man-made objects. It doesn't jive for me. I liked that it was a more spiritual thing, and it always was until now, because Rey, and now they have to explain all this stupid crap that happened in the sequels. And if you care to watch some of my other videos, you'll see that they are they're just destroying the lore, and it's all based on the fact that they wrote these crappy sequels, and everything they're doing is based on that. And this is continuity issue too, because there was no mention of this type of force power throughout anything in the prequels or OT. So then they had to say, like in this article, that it was Yoda's fault because Yoda stopped them from exploring this, But then why would he do that? If it's a legit force power, why would he do that, right? He wouldn't do that. That's dumb. That's stupid. That's just these guys making stuff up as they go along because they don't know what they're doing, because they wrote crappy sequels and they won't just decanonize them, get rid of them, throw them in the trash. Now we've got stuff happening 200 years before the prequels that they contradict the prequels and the OT. So now it's Yoda's fault. He's the reason. And I told you guys when they started this High Republic that they would do things to destroy Yoda and his character. And here it goes. We're starting already. So, anyways, tell me what you think in the comment section, guys. And as I said, please like and subscribe. And again, check out my other videos with this lore destroying nonsense. And have a good day.